following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
Morning, Drew is on special assignment, actually on his way to Santa Barbara. Poor Drew. He's got a 4-hour drive ahead of him. I'm Dave Mason, and I'm in for Drew today on the Community Spotlight Show, and I'm proud to be here in the studio with Kristen Fogle, who is the author of a book called Dare to Write.
Indeed, true story.
This is there are probably a trillion people out there who said, you know, if I could only write a book.
Absolutely.
And this book is about writing.
Yes.
So this is a good way to kind of get the impetus to get going. Why did you write a book called Dare to Write?
So Dare to Write, and I'll say the tagline also so people understand a little bit about what it's about. It's creative writing prompts for young people and word rebels everywhere. And a word rebel is you, it's me. But I wanted to write this book because I'm a big advocate of writing practice, writing just to get better, to brain dump, all that sort of stuff. And writing prompts are really a good way to get to the other side of your writing, of your day, of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Brain dump.
Brain dump,
Is that like to get things out of your head?
Indeed, yes.
Does that help, really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone who journals and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
I think that writing should be a part of every daily practice. I think it should be the new yoga. That's what I'm advocating for.
Or as I recall, when I was going to school, you know, they would teach us writing. They would teach us how to form the words.
Right.
How to form the letters.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because every time I say, you know, or ask, are you a writer? Everyone gets that cold academic look in their eye and they get very fearful. And I think that that's why I would like it to be the new yoga is, you know, now 30, 40 years in the States, people are like, oh, yeah, I do yoga. It's fine. But if you'd ask someone that, I don't know, 60s, 70s, they'd probably be really scared and think it was this esoteric Indian philosophy. But, you know, we're all very comfortable with yoga. And I want people to be more comfortable with just saying, yeah, I'm a writer. I do writing practice. I write. But
writing is more than picking up this pen and then writing on a piece of
is
paper.
It, though?
It's sitting, well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying that anybody can write. I think that anyone is inherently creative, and I think that anyone can, with certain abilities, of course.
Right.
But it's just like yoga, you know, to stretch and all that sort of stuff. But I think that anybody can write, can be a writer.
So you are the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc.
I am.
How long have you been a writer?
How long have I? Well, I've been at Writers, Inc. for 7 years. I've been writing since forever. So, yeah, I would say that. I've been a writer forever.
Okay. And that's obviously your occupation.
Yes.
Is this the first book that you've written?
This is the first book that I've written. I come from a magazine writing background,
Okay.
so I've penned lots of articles. I've written plays. I've written lots of bad poetry. So, but this is my first
Do I dare
book.
ask for a poem?
Not off the top of my head.
Fine. All right, good.
I'm a writer, not a sayer.
No,
so.
that's fine. But you know, you're doing quite well, by the way, in explaining what you do, which is something that people really need to learn.
Sure.
And early on, I was discussing with someone who has written books about writing a book about music history, and the way it's affected broadcast radio, really, and which is in itself is becoming history. It's, you know, where do you go? Where do you start? And once you start, where do you go from there?
Sure.
And that's always been the big question that I've had. I mean, and when you dare to write the creative writing prompts, are you able to answer those questions?
Where does one go?
Where does one begin, even?
Well, you begin with a prompt, and really that can take you anywhere. So, you know, I've given this example a lot. I've watched people answer basic questions in there, and if you open the book, there are lots of different types of prompts. Some are just one word, you know, lightning, go from there. Some are pointed questions. Some are activities that you can do, and you can really go anywhere. I've seen people do screenplays. I've seen people answer the question, "What is my family secret?" and delve into that and start memoirs from that and things like that. So really, I mean, the answer is vague, but you can go anywhere.
No, that's a good answer. That's the question. I mean, and the reality is, and I think I get the reality, is that you begin anywhere.
Right,
but
exactly.
You need that prompt.
Some people don't need the prompt. Some people just sit down and they don't need it. But many of us, we need a little something to just kind of get us going. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of writing prompt programs through Writers Inc. So I think that we have 4 of them now, and they're just writing practice groups. Someone gives a prompt. They write for about 17 minutes, and then they can share or not share. And a lot of people have done their novels this way, just
really?
Week by week, responding to the prompts, getting into their character, getting into a situation, and going from there. So... it's really a great way to do whatever project, or like I said, the dump. I'm all for the dump.
Just getting things out of your brain.
Yeah, I think it's super important.
And onto the written page.
Yes, laughing aside, but
no, it's a great idea because there's so many of us have so many thoughts.
Yes.
And what do we do with them?
You put it on the page.
Instead of having them rolling through you. Well, they can roll through your head, I guess, as you're going to sleep at night. I think about that a lot. I think about the day, and I think about the last week. And
absolutely. Well, I've given you the book. Try it out.
Yeah.
Or money back. You didn't pay it, so I don't know how that works. I don't know if I'm not a math magician.
Where is the book available?
It is available on Amazon. Amazon is the best place to go and get it. Just type in Dare to Write or myself, Kristen Fogle, and you can get it there.
Kristen with an E.
Kristen with an E.
Fogle.
Yes, or except that brief moment in high school where I was like, I'm Kristen with a Y.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
What prompted you to do that?
Because I was like, my name is boring. I hate this name. I've just always been a creative child.
It's a wonderful name.
Well, thank you.
And, San Diego Writers Inc. Can probably help once you get through the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not difficult to get through the book. And here's the thing. A lot of things in this book, I'm seeing the prompt number blank, and then the space to write.
Yes.
So where do we get the prompt numbers?
The prompts are in here. So
okay.
This was one thing with the publisher that I wasn't super excited about is there are these numbered lists in here, and they say the word, the phrases, and things like that. And then you can go further on and put your little prompt number, like, hey, I'm writing to lightning. If number 4 was just lightning, and write from there. One thing that I had said was most writers like the prompt at the top of the page and then like to write from there. But whatever, it's fine. I'm very happy. Thank you, publisher.
There are a lot of ideas in here. The character worksheet. Don't you love love?
Right.
Explain that.
So 2 things about the book. It's meant to be a craft book, very simple craft book. And what I mean by writing craft is characters, dialogue, conflict, that sort of stuff. So that's at the beginning of the book, and there's some stuff in between there. The Don't You Love Love it's broken down by genre. So the second chapter is memoir, and then there's crime and mysteries. There's Don't You Love Love, which is the romance section. Poetry is in there also. So if you do want to do specific prompts to a genre that you're into, then you
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak is in there too. Yes.
Is that a big? Is that a popular?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, yeah. All the teenage girls and boys.
Yeah, we've all had our hearts broken.
Right.
At some point.
Yes.
Some of us older folks have had our hearts broken too. But
I'm so sorry.
That's not your fault. Really. It happens, though.
It does.
So when it comes to San Diego Writers Inc.
Yes. Happy to talk about that.
Yeah. That is your organization. Well,
I am the executive director. I've been there for 7 years. The organization's been around for about 15 years.
What's the mission?
The mission is to be a literary hub for writers. So we aim to do that through classes and workshops and readings, and we have an annual anthology. We're working on our 13th anthology right now, where we get over 400 submissions. About 40 people get selected, and so there are new writers. There are people that have written for a long time alongside each other in this beautiful book that we produce in June. We do a conference. We do several things, and we're located in Liberty Station. So,
what has the internet age done for writers?
That's an interesting question. I think that it has made information a lot more available, and I think that people can take classes online now, too, which people are experimenting with. But I think at the heart of what we do and what we are seeking to do for students is lonely's a writing profession, At the heart of it, you can sit there and just be in your room and write all by your lonesome, but writing's really about... should be about connection and community. So that's something that you cannot do over. Let me take that back. You can do that over the internet, but it's nice to have a face-to-face with someone, to have an instructor and a group of people to do things with. So, for instance, one of the other things we do are read and critiques weekly, and these are people that can sit together and have been working together for years and years and years. Some of these groups have been around for 5, 6, 8, 10 years. some of these members. And so they develop that family, they develop that trust and that sense of community with each other. So I think it's a different kind of community that you can get face to face than you can on the internet.
What one thing or two things do you find writers have in common as opposed to non-writers? Those who say, well, I've never written anything.
They're curious. They're curious about something.
Mm-hmm.
They feel the need to express. They understand how important storytelling is. So I think that they all realize that they have a unique point of view and that that's valid. And I agree.
What are some of the items that you have written about? You said magazine. You've done magazine.
Yeah. So I early on, I became an editor for college entertainment magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So I've written about a lot of light and fluffy stuff. On the back it says, I've interviewed Kardashians and Taylor Swift, and so I've written a lot of interviews with celebrities that have kind of come up over the years. I've done a lot of events. I've written about products, and so I've written a lot of that sort of stuff.
I'll ask you some of those names in just a minute, and then we'll get back to more about Dare to Write, creative writing prompts. Kristen Fogle is our guest on the San Diego Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show. My name is Dave Mason, in for Drew Schlossberg today, and we'll have more in just a couple of minutes. We appreciate you being here. By the way, San Diego Writers, Inc., you have a website.
Absolutely, sandiegowriters.org.
And that's where you can find out all the information about that. Do you have information on the book there as well?
I believe so. Maybe. If not, I'll go and I'll change it if we don't.
You got some. I know you know the boss.
Yes, I do.
You know the person who can make that happen.
I know her intimately.
We'll have more with Kristen Fogle in just a minute here on the San Diego Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show. Thank you for spending time with us on Cloudcast Media.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here today with the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Welcome to Deacon Jim Vargas.
Thank you, Charles. Good to be with you.
We have 3 minutes. Let's hit it fast and furiously. We're going to talk this morning with you about San Diego being a very expensive city, which creates a housing crisis, which is exacerbating the homeless crisis in San Diego. Let's talk about your leadership on this issue.
Sure, absolutely. We do have an affordable housing crisis here in San Diego. In fact, if you ask about the number one issue why people fall into homelessness, it's lack of affordability. And so they fall onto the streets, especially when rents go up, and rents are very expensive here. So we at Father Joe's Villages focus tremendously on housing. In fact, about 40% of our intervention is placing individuals into permanent and affordable housing. All right, so shows you the extent of what we do. And of course, there's services that go along with this, because in order for people to retain their housing, their dwellings, they have to have the services that they're necessary, whether it's mental health services or substance use disorder services, whatever that is. We have a Turning the Key initiative, whereby we'll be introducing 2,000 affordable housing units into the community during the next number of years. In fact, we just closed on a deal to purchase and refurbish a motel in the South Bay area. It's going to add 83 permanent supportive housing units. Next week, we'll be closing financially on a groundbreaking that will have 14-story building, 407 units of housing as well, taking about 550 people off the street. So housing is extremely important.
Which means you're investing a lot of capital. How are you finding that capital to solve the housing crisis in San Diego for homeless folks? 90
to 95% of our funding is public funding. Various sources, whether it be from the state, it be local, county, city, municipality. So most of it is public funding. There's tax credits that are involved there. The capital stack is quite large, actually.
So you're finding the land, you're finding the capital, you're changing lives. How are you minimizing the risk of future homelessness for these clients of yours? We're minimizing it through our services.
We need to make sure that in order for them to retain the housing, that they receive the services that they need, that are holistic and are comprehensive to their specific needs.
That's fantastic. Deacon Jim, in the last 10 years, your organization has taken 11,000 folks from homelessness to a home. So I congratulate you. Any closing thoughts for our audience?